talking non-KYC, for example, in the US, where I was in China and places like that, it's not even a topic. Like, people have no idea. Like, I mentioned non-KYC on several of the meetups in the US, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" So it was a little bit surprising for me, because like here we were like, we're non-KYC maxes here. And it's like I felt like, what, I'm a terrorist or I'm a weird guy now, or like, what happened? I'm really not a fan of Sailor, and increasingly more, by the way. It will not kill Bitcoin. I'm not here talking about any conspirational theory, but I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of it. And I sort of think about how quickly we got here, and I don't know. I don't want to. I don't want to clap anymore every single Monday where he buys more and concentrates the power, and you know what? Honestly, all the nice stories of I'll give it all up, and I don't buy that story. It feels fake, man. Like again, a little bit maybe conspiratorial theories, but why not? Hey, man. Um, uh, if I don't buy the story. Like, everything is story. I'm a marketing guy, and the dude who was a billionaire already, and he says, "Hey, let me buy more Bitcoin, and I don't have a wife, I don't have kids, I don't support any development." I understand that the ossification, he doesn't want new features on Bitcoin, but give me one good reason. Give me one good reason not to give grants to open source developers on mining. There's literally zero consensus changes, and you can make Bitcoin a little bit more resilient by Stratum V2 adoption, or like strengthening mining rules. There's zero consensus changes. There's zero new features. Like, there's zero argument not to give a grant to Stratum V2 developers. I don't see it. I don't understand it. So that story seems fake. So we have an old boomer who keeps buying Bitcoin and says what I personally don't like: never fucking use it as medium of exchange. It's like, who the fuck are you? It's like, dude, like, Bitcoin's supposed to be money, like the best money we ever invented. How come all of a sudden our biggest hero is an old boomer who just says buy, never sell? It's like, he done a lot for the community. So like, I don't want to say he's evil and he's gonna kill Bitcoin and no, like, he helped a lot and he has his part of it. But like, why we continue like so much supporting it and praising it, go like that, it really actively bothers my mind in the past 4 months. And I give kudos to Mike Bernstein. He like started nudging me, and like few months ago I was like saying, hey, all these things. I'm like, you know what, you're right. Like, why do I really celebrate old boomer buying Bitcoin, hoarding Bitcoin, that never wants to use it, even for Stratum V2 grants, and just saying buy and never use it as medium of exchange? I don't like the story. So like, it goes back to how I see Bitcoin future. I want to see more medium of exchange and self-custody. I know it's not going to be dominant. I know it's difficult, but we shouldn't like abandon it. Like, I think vast majority will have it in banks as a form of saving. But like, losing that narrative completely, I think is very dangerous. Like, just use it as a store of value. Like, you'll make I don't know, the fiat currency that has all the bank accounts with Bitcoin behind it like stronger, and again, confiscation of Bitcoin all over again. I don't know. I don't want to paint like um, uh, terrible apocalyptic scenarios, but anyway, I know that vast majority will be KYC and custodial, but I think keeping the narrative of non-custodial, maybe non-KYC, not your keys, not your coins. I think use it as money. Go spend it. Go do some cool stuff. Build, spend, collateralize. Do all that. Don't just sit on it as a boomer with a with a with a plan to die with it. Dude, like, there are more cool things in life to do than dying with Bitcoin. Or like, what the fuck is that story? Like, I don't know. So anyway, I got railed up a little bit. So.
I love it.
A little bit, just a little bit.
I love it, man. I mean, to be fair, he has a lot of nice things, so he definitely spends money. I've been to his house and he has chairs.
Good point. Good point. Yeah, at least he should collateralize the Bitcoin, but he does it in a way. Anyway, so that was my rant.
How how do you look in at Bitcoin Treasury
That's
conference
a
in
nice flex,
general?
by the way. I was in his house. Nice. I look at your journey, right? You started like, when did you start? Like 2 years ago in the community, year and a half?
I did not start a long time ago. I mean, it depends on where you draw the line in starting. I made my first small Bitcoin video in 2020, but
Hmm.
this was in German, and like I think
Like doing
maybe
this podcast, when did you start
like
doing
this
this?
this this podcast is not even 2 years old.
Wow, wow.
So
And
the
dropping,
pod.
hey, I was hanging out in the cellar. Congrats, no, you're doing a great job. So it's deserved. It's deserved.
Uh, uh, this was not the purpose of that, but yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that. The point I was trying to make is like, okay, let's go back just for a minute on Saylor, because I do think it's important. What he, because a lot of people, and I see it also, where they try to take the Saylor what should I say, the Saylor strategy and apply it to their own personal lives.
Hmm.
And I always say, like, what he does with strategy, you cannot do as an individual, and they sometimes want to do it, and they're also like, oh, don't sell it. Like, he made money in his life, and a lot of money even before Bitcoin, and he used that money. Like he has boats, he has things. He like I'm not an expert on his private life at all. Like I don't know a lot of things, but I saw his house, and like it's a fucking museum. It looks very nice, and so to have that story of like, don't sell your, like, he does spend money. Like I have
Hmm.
no clue how
Good
much
point.
and like what he spends on. Like I know that there's documentation on his private lives. I've really never watched any of those.
Hmm.
I'm not that interested in it. But I do agree. Like he's like a very disciplined person also. Um, but my overall point is like, we have money and we should use it as such. Like we should
Agree.
spend it. And I had such a fear of spending my money up until what is it, like 5 months, 6 months now, something like that, like beginning of the year,
Hmm. Hmm.
because I started earning in Bitcoin directly,
Hmm.
and so like actually most of my income now is directly in Bitcoin.
Nice.
And at some point, I was at the point where I was like, oh, I don't have fiat to pay my fiat bills. So what do? Do I like get a loan, get a debt, get something collateralized? Like what should I do? And then I was like, I don't want to play this fiat games. I don't want to. Even if it's peer-to-peer and collateralized debt, I don't want to have that at all. Like I don't want to
Hmm.
owe anyone anything. I
Hmm.
just want to have my money, and I have a little bit more money coming in than going out, and that money I can save, and the other one I just spend. And so I started spending Bitcoin, and now I pay my freelancers in Bitcoin. I pay
Nice.
people in Bitcoin whenever I can. And now a bigger and bigger portion of my money comes into a wallet of a Bitcoin wallet and goes out in a Bitcoin wallet, and it never touches my bank account. And I absolutely love it. And also on the point of like, the older generation probably won't be living on a Bitcoin standard, but the new generation born in 2025 is called Generation Beta, and I would like to rename that in Generation B, Generation Bitcoin,
Nice.
because
Nice.
if you think about someone be born in 2025, when they will be earning their first money, let's say with 20 years old, in 20 years, I'm pretty sure if I'm already spending Bitcoin, I'm already using
Mhm.
Bitcoin as a money, mostly actually, in 20 years, we will have a huge development. Like Bitcoin is not even 20 years old. And now like think about what can happen in the next 20 years. And so I like to focus on that. But I do have a lot of like I don't think Sale is a bad actor, but I think he's just, I think, like, and maybe I'm biased, but I think he's a well-intentioned guy that acts out of his own personal framework. When you look at what he did all his life, it really nicely fits into what he does with Bitcoin. And I think we should have many competing narratives, and this never sell your Bitcoin is a narrative that I hate. You should spend your Bitcoin. But hey, if it helps newbies to stack more Bitcoin and get a more aggressive stack in Bitcoin,
Good point.
maybe that's some value to there. Like, but I honestly love that there are a lot of competing theories and narratives in Bitcoin. I mean, I don't know if you've, I know that you have observed this definitely. The Bitcoin Knots versus core thing, where I'm saying, no matter on what side you're on, it's a net benefit that people are aware that you can not only run core, you can also run something else. So like this in general, I think like is a positive thing. It drives people towards like, hey, oh, I made now 2 episodes on this topic, and every time when I posted, I asked also the community on YouTube, hey, what do you run? What will you run? Bitcoin V30, Bitcoin Core, but not V30, or Bitcoin Knots? And I always have people like, huh?
Yeah,
What?
yeah, I understand.
What is that? And I'm like, every time I post this, someone sees it and then probably like Googles it or like ChatGPTs it, like whatever the new term for looking up stuff is. And so I think we should really focus on like pushing good narratives. And if everyone does that in this decentralized weird way where there's no like boss, and also Sailor has like absolute no boss figure, like a lot of people like have like competing narratives. But yeah, this is my main thing of like, let's push the good narratives that you use Bitcoin as money and in self custody also. Also, one other thing, like it would be fun to talk with you about it. Sorry for my very long rant.
No
I
worries.
ask my community very often, do you do self custody? Are you trying self custody? And it's always the same thing, like 40-50% do it, the rest not. And I'm like, all my partners, like literally all my partners except Coin Vigilante, are all about self custody. Like Microseed for
Nice.
stamping, the Bitcoin Way for like the providing service, like all of them. Simple Mining also now it's a new partner. There's not about self custody, but like it goes into self custody Bitcoin. But yeah, the overall point is like, I'm promoting so much self custody. I'm always talking about self custody, but still 50% of my audience is like, I don't care about that. I'm like, oh,
But
fine.
they can get there. They can get there. It's a good. It's a journey, man. It's like I know it's not easy. Self custody is not easy, and you doubt yourself, and it's a little bit more complicated. And you have to really, and you doubt yourself. What if I fuck up? Really, it's about money. So I get it, but we should strive for it. Some kudos, man. I think self custody is really important.
Yeah. And that might be actually something interesting to talk about. Like, I don't know about you, but I still to this day, like I've improved, like I hold Bitcoin since now over 5 years. And I improved almost every single year, sometimes even multiple times a year, my self-custody setup, because I have self-custody actually since day one, because I listened to to good people like early on
Nice.
in the story. And for a long time it sucked, and I kept improving. I kept like iterating of like, okay, what if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? Oh, I need this, I need this, I need this. But still to this day, even though I've interviewed over 600 different people,
Mm-hmm.
even though I talked with every like expert on self-custody
Mm-hmm.
in Bitcoin, still to this day, I have thoughts in my head of like, wait, did I think about that?
I agree.
Wait, what,
I have the same.
what if this happens?
Yeah.
So, just as a message for people out there, like it's normal to do that. Like with great power comes great responsibility, and this responsibility can drag on you.
I agree. It's it is nerve wracking how I you're never gonna lose it. The better setup you can create, the more backups you can create, the better tools you use, you'll always have the feeling. So it's legit. It's comes with it. So I would recommend using more setups, using splitting it, and really if you have more and more money, look into things like on ramp. I think that is really 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 interesting what on ramp are doing, for example. So it's like it's multi. It's like it's multi sec and each key is held by different institution in different geographic jurisdiction. So things like, so the more money you have to lose, I still say don't have it in exchange. But like, think about it, have 1/3 in like a very good or your own setup, have 1/3 with Unchained Capital, 1/3 with on-ramp stuff, things like that. Like, you should, the more you have, the more things you should think about it. But really, there are so many cool tools, so many services these days. It's amazing. It's way different time.
We first covered a little bit of Sailor, but I think it's also really interesting what happens with treasury companies. And I think you said that you're not a fan of it. How do you look at treasury companies?
Last thing about Seller. Let's close the Seller. I wouldn't bet on him being a bad actor. That was not supposed to be my key message. But I think, and yeah, you can argue that, you know, you can always argue pro and, like, you cannot just say yes, his narrative is like pure evil or really bad. So I get that point. The but is the story of I just stack so I'll die with it. I think it doesn't work as a story. It's BS. People don't think this way. Nobody accepts it. I'm a marketing guy. It's everything is about story. Just buying more so you can die with it. It's a weird story, man. Like, you don't, I get it, you don't have kids, you don't have a wife, but like, it's just weird story. It just doesn't stick. And then I say, okay, he's not a malicious actor or a bad actor. So I say, do more. Like, I don't know what, but like, think about it. MicroStrategy, they hired a Bitcoin ambassador as a role. They had 0 Bitcoin people as a Bitcoin ambassador as a role, 4 months ago? And they're doing meetups and they're like educating, like I don't know what. I'm not saying, okay, go and fund core developers. I understand that. But like, there is a way you can do more. I will not accept, yeah, you can argue, but he goes and promotes. I want more. I'm going to be strict. I want more. I don't know what the more is. I just want more. Like, dude, I'm nobody from a small village. And like, I published 30,000 checkbox, like translation of like Bitcoin standard to check. Like, I'm doing my part. So I'm saying it from a position of I'm doing my part, and you have way more resources, way more means. So it's up to you to do more. And just going on podcasts and conferences and just saying buy and never sell, and I'm gonna die with my stack is a weird story. I just don't. I don't like it. So yes, he's not a bad actor, but there's definitely things I don't like, and I want to be transparent and vocal about it.
I guess that's fair. But how do you think about the treasury companies? Because for me, it's a very, like, almost like a new department in Bitcoin growing. It's like very different people. I've interviewed a lot of it. It's like a very different feeling also. How do you look at treasury companies in general?
Necessary part of the growth. It's going to be, I agree. It's completely new universe. Like, different vibes, different story, different narratives, different people, very different. But it's fine. Like, it's never going to be my thing. I don't think there's like I don't know. There are people that say like more than half will die in the next bear market. I don't know. It's like, I'm not that pessimistic about it. I don't overestimate the importance of it. I think it's a new segment in the market. It's fine. I don't like it in the way I would not buy into it. I never recommend it to any of my friends. So like, I'm like, I don't touch it with my own money or my thinking or my focus or my effort or my attention. I don't recommend it to my friends. I try to educate them about Bitcoin. But I mean, I would pinpoint like a bet for future of Bitcoin, like in way better, in different directions than this. Like, I'm not too worried about it. I'll let them do what they want.
Yeah, it's the thing of Bitcoin is permissionless, and like everyone can do whatever they really want to do with Bitcoin, and you cannot stop them or like tell them anything. But it is interesting for me when we think about the Bitcoin treasury companies, because like I think there's a very important distinguishing that we have to do is like the first one is Bitcoin treasury companies that just buy Bitcoin with their profits. Like This is
Yeah.
basically what I even do with my podcast. I wouldn't call myself a Bitcoin treasury
Yeah.
company, but I do keep everything that I
Smart
don't
money
need in
management.
Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Of
exactly.
course.
But then there's all those fiat games and bonds and like I have no clue about that, but like all those things that are going on with that. And I wonder like how much space we have there. There's many that say like there's only a limited amount of space for how many companies that can actually do that. It reminds me more and more of this ICO boom, where all of a sudden like a lot of coins are launched, and now like a lot of like those treasury companies are getting launched. And, like just from a vibe, it's similar for some reason. But
More people said that. Yeah, I would tend to agree. Yeah.
But I'm also hesitating of like comparing an actual publicly traded company with like a meme coin. Like there's like a huge difference there. But the vibe is weirdly close for some reason.
I agree. It's gonna be interesting to see. It's gonna be more and more difficult. You have the ETFs. You will have very soon. I think really like you will have the major banks just integrating Bitcoin through and through. Really. So it's gonna be, I think, more and more difficult. We'll see. I get the vibe that you're describing. I keep hearing that from left and right. So there has to be something about it. Really. I will have one more shell here because I'm not a finance guy, but we have one more book. Like we have more books, but one more book I want to shell. It's Bitcoinization of Finance by Wyatt, great dude from Denver. Again, free download, guys. We're gonna have free audiobook. Of course, if you wanna buy it and support what we do, you can on Amazon. But like he goes into all that. So I'm not a finance guy, so if you are interested in none of that, highly recommend this book.
Really, really awesome. I have one more question before we get to the end routine of the podcast. Man, the time flew by with you. I just saw that we're almost at the end. The halving and the impact, the economic impact of halving is super interesting for me. And
It's hard.
more and more
It's the worst.
people. It was.
It's the worst.
It's the worst economic impact of the halving.
Yeah. On miners, really. Anyway, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt, but it's brutal. It's like PTSD. You mentioned a halving, and all miners are like, "Oh my god, PTSD, man."
I get that, but I mean, I don't get that as close because I haven't run a miner when the halving was around. Let's see how this will be in the future. But the thing I was kind of wondering is and a lot of people actually, like, that's why I wonder about it, because I get more and more asked questions about that, is like, hey, like 2026 comes around, like it's supposed to be a down year, it's supposed to do this like in the halving cycles, and I'm like, okay, the halving cycle, of course it has an impact, like it of course cuts down the thing, but in general, like it should have a less and less impact. And now also we have a lot of different actors in this space where we have all of a sudden companies buying and like the thing that we just discussed. Thank you for watching this video. This was only a snippet of the podcast. And if you want to watch the full episode and get all of the context of this episode, you can click right here or here. Oh, maybe also here.